Cool. Taylor, bro, it's dope to have you come through the studio, man.
Okay.
Indeed, man. We met by I heard you through Josiah, which is a dope creative. Shout out to Josiah Christopherson, I believe his last name is. And he mentioned you, and you started showing us some love on Instagram. And I reached out, got you in, and we were just going to chat and meet through podcast form.
Yeah,
man.
I'm feeling good,
Yeah.
bro. Dude, this is the most beautiful studio I've
Thanks,
ever
bro.
seen. Ever.
Thanks, man.
Like, it's so versatile.
Yeah.
There's so many different areas, and it's pocketed. It's hidden away.
Yeah.
It's quiet. It's clean.
Trying,
Got it
man.
going on.
We're
man.
trying, man.
Good for you.
Man, tell me a little about your story, what you do. How did you get to, I know you went viral at one point.
Yeah.
A lot of creatives love you. How did that happen?
A few things there. I think how we got here, like you said, Josiah was a guy who I saw on Instagram.
Hey, dope.
I follow anytime I see a good creative
Yeah,
follow
sure.
because you got to keep that in
Yeah,
front of you,
absolutely.
right? That your environment, what you surround yourself with.
Do you know how young he is?
Bro, that's what I was just about to go into.
I thought this was maybe an 18-year-old, 20-year-old.
No. So we talking, right? So he reached out to me. I was like, man, you got great work. I don't even think you comprehend how good you are. And I was like, I'm going to a shoot because he was asking me questions. I was like, you're more than welcome to come along because I remember when I didn't want to take jobs I've never had experiences for. So I would like tag along and be a BTS photographer. Yeah. And I think that's so neat to have.
Yeah.
So he did that and he came along and he just followed and shadowed. And I saw the camera he had and I was like, man, you really went some heavy gear. And then we started talking and then he's like 17. I'm like, bro.
Is he 17? He's 15.
He's 15?
Bro, he's like a sophomore in high school. I'm sorry to air out all his business.
Dude.
Bro,
I said, bro, I wish you'll never comprehend how far ahead of the game you are right now.
But man, you said something key, man. Being able to take those small opportunities, even if it's BTS rolling behind somebody, just visualizing and getting in the room. So many things you can learn just by being in the room. Even if you're not in the limelight, just being in the room. That's so powerful.
Yep. You read the room that way.
Absolutely.
It's no pressure.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because at the end of the shoot, they had a lady pull up and we were by the street and she rolls her windows down. I was like, can I help you? It was like, I'm here to pick up my son. I was like, oh my goodness, this can't even drive. Yep. So I was like, you're doing a fabulous job with him. He's a good kid. You got a good one.
And that's the point there, man. Parents supporting children that are killing the game, doing something a little bit different, but he's evidently killing it. Shout out to Josiah.
Yeah, no doubt. If he's running around with a camera like that, I know his parents understand. He has a gift.
Yeah, man. So tell me more about your story.
Yeah, we're out here in Baton Rouge. We've been here, got hired by Gordon McKernan, injury attorney, in December. So
how did you meet him?
So a few months before that, I had a video go viral for the Alabama game. And there was a company that did a spinoff of my video. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, if you want some more work, like that was my video, let me know. I did that to Gordon's people as well. And they ended up saying, hey, look, we're not worried about that, but we are looking for a photographer if you're interested. And I was like, let's go. Ended up leaving my 7-to-7 offshore job, working outside in the elements. And man, now when I go to my car for lunch, it's too hot. And I'm like, man, I can't complain though, because people are working at it. But we're blessed now. And we've grown as a department. The followings on everyone's social media around
What was it like
us.
when you started? What was the department like?
The department they wasn't really heavily on social media. They were around 5,000 maybe. They had a big Facebook following, but it's a big TV lawyer. They're big into that. So it's like trying to transition into that space. As soon as I got hired in December, they sent me to a conference in Atlanta. And at this conference, there was a lawyer who was big on social media. And he held this conference for all these lawyers and teaching them social media. And the first question he asks in the audience is, how many firms in here have a full-time videographer? And our firm raised our hand and maybe one other one. So that was an awesome moment. First weekend on the job at a conference and explaining the value. My biggest thing from all of this is just telling people that are who might think, oh, that's for other people's story or whatever. Like, no, like you're so close to one message or one video from just your life changing.
Yeah, man, we've been trying to reach out more with businesses. And one thing I've learned is to not do business and handle my business like my personality. So I'm an introvert as far as my personality. And so, but to get out there and just kill the game or just to advance, you really got to get out, man, and start having conversation, because money doesn't grow on trees, it grows in people's pockets. And so you have to build relationships. You have to learn how to conversate with people so that you can, it could be, like you said, a text away, man.
Yeah. I mean, with social media now, you can get in touch with anybody. There's literally people who will like every time I post something or comment or something, and I wouldn't know them unless their consistency And that's how you get someone's attention. Because once you get to a point to where you have all these messages, you don't have the bandwidth to take up, you realize what catches your attention and what doesn't. So it's like when you're trying to contact certain people, use an emoji first just to catch their attention in the inbox. Little stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so true. So Gordon hired you and you're changing the department.
Yeah, so we grew. We got an editor. We got a production assistant. We're working with another production company. And then we just continuously are expanding. We just did a campaign of all our male athletes where they came in the studio and like we had a question and answer, getting to know the players. And that was just really good, wholesome content to where it breaks up the monotony and it also benefits the student athlete. So that's big.
That's so big, man. That's so cool to see Gordon stepping out and being forefront of that.
Gordon's a good guy. I like Gordon.
Outside of, that's like in the sense of 9 to 5 for you, it's like your main gig. How do you see yourself just growing yourself within the creative world? What are you doing to other things other creators can do to expand themselves?
Yeah, so I think having a structured day is probably the biggest thing. Because we can, as creatives, we can make anything turn to gold if we spend enough time on it. But our focus is pulled in so many directions. So I try and start the day off with a good, solid YouTube video about something I don't know, and then go edit what I just learned. And once I get frustrated with it, you go take a creative break. I go organize my gear or something like that. So just having that structured formula to where it's progressive and you feel accomplished at the beginning of the day, it really helps out. Because in a creative environment, when you're frustrated, it could trickle into the other creatives. It
definitely can.
And it could get...
What would you say are tips for people who aren't working in an environment where there's a team? They're freelancing or they're doing their own thing. What are things that they can do to expand themselves?
Yeah, go take some free jobs. Yeah, I think you just need to get out there and create. Because if you're not don't worry about the money. The money's going to come. Okay? You got to enjoy what you do, and it's going to show in your work. So I always tell people, if there's a certain field you're interested in, just hit up any creative in that field, bother them. You're not bothering them until they tell you, leave me alone.
Absolutely. One thing I've learned also, man, is just what moves the world is value. So if you figure out a way to add value to somebody, think about the person you're reaching out to. Go ahead of the game and see, man, what is something that everybody like them, a videographer, what is something that they need? They may need an editor. They may need somebody to get behind the scenes. If you're trying to get around somebody like that, think about a pain point they may be having and just add value. They need content. Figure out. So that's something I've been thinking of when I'm trying to reach out to whatever the business or niche is. It's like, man, add value to them, and maybe that'll open the door. Sometimes it won't, but it definitely can.
You be a resource, and even if you can't help them, you could find people that can help them. If I find the best content, like there's a realtor I follow, and I'm telling you, I'd want to go do business with him just because his content. Where's the best place to eat in Baton Rouge? He's not talking about the interest rate every day. So it's like how you structure your delivery and your presentation with what you bring as a brand or as a person is huge. And I think that comes with knowing social media and your...
Yeah, that's big. Is there something in your story, like your come up, that really defines why you do what you do or how you do it? Like maybe your drive, or like how you approach different people, even your style. Has there been a big influence on your life?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. You think that I've always been an athlete, so I've always been very competitive. So anything I do, I look at a sport, and it's like I just have to win, or I have to figure this out. How can I make it more productive? How can I make it flow better? So I'm enamored by, I guess, like the build up or the come up. So it's once you get the trophy, it's on to the next.
Yeah.
So that finish line mentality is something that I've always had to pull back.
That's good.
But I think with the journey and the come up, it's understanding that it doesn't matter what point you get to, if you think you're going to find that peace or that victory feeling.
That's so true.
It doesn't. It just keeps running from you until you get it and recognize it's who's around you, what's around you, and that's what's the most important. Right now, it's like I've done a lot of cool things, and not much excites me, and it worries me sometimes. Like, why am I not? Some guys are like, oh, bro. And it's like to the point of that doesn't fulfill me. So finding what fulfills you and understanding your purpose is something that is discovered whenever you have that freedom.
You have goals. What are your 5 years? Where do you want to see
Man, I have no idea. Just because of the last year,
Sure,
really.
I feel
Not
that.
even a year.
Yeah.
And it's like
Completely
night and day. But I want to be settled down with a family. I want to I want to pull up to the studio and
Yeah.
have my team just creating and having people coming in and out.
So you want to run your own team, have maybe
No, I'm always gonna be tied with the firm is like what I'm really
Absolutely.
passionate. It's a good, solid cause and able to help people and recover things that it's a good message. So I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be so padded up. I'm gonna have other things going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'd love to have some podcasts and love what you're doing. How you got creatives just like coming around, like just a whole bunch of creative vibes.
Absolutely. I love it, man. I wanted to think about this term like boss mode, like creatives moving. One thing you said about taking the athlete approach, like your background is athletics. And one thing about athletes, of course, you're always trying to, there's a good comparison and then there's an unhealthy comparison. But you're always trying to get better. You're looking at guys play and you're getting better. I think sometimes creatives can get stuck too fast into a style or a thought process about the business that they're in, and then they can forfeit, advancement and growth that they can take because they're not trying to figure out what's the next. I think that hunger that a lot of athletes have. I think that in itself are some things that people can do, but what are some things that you feel like people can do to move into like the boss mode where you're like attacking the industry, learning what you can?
Yeah, I think that's going to come when they hit that confidence, and it's only going to come from 10,000 reps. If you're only at the 100th rep, keep going. Once you hit 10,000, that's where that next level of understanding you really that dude.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, God mode or
Boss
mode or savage mode or
Sure.
however you do it. But once you get to a level of understanding that your creativity is like, and it helps you grow and expand others, like it's a new level.
I love it. We're probably gonna cut right there. Where are we at on time?
I love that.
Like 50. Okay.
Anytime I come across like another creative, we're like sweating somewhere.
Yeah.
Just, oh my God, I found another one. But no,
Bro.
I think it's so cool, man. This is a really big
Happy
song.
was able to do this, man. Do you have any tips on other conversation bits? I feel good.
Who's going hard?
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Tell me, man.
Yeah, so
The question is, how do you find inspiration?
how do I find inspiration? So a lot of how I feel is how I communicate through my work. So my stories, I'm a little emotional or passionate, some may say. So it's I'll tend to use a lot of Kevin Gates or anything like that. But as creatives, it's good to express yourself and your feelings and to share those moments that aren't really shareable that you might think, because so many other people are going through that as well. And I use TikTok as therapy sometimes. My algorithm is very geared toward mental health, mindset, strong. And I go to TikTok and it's feeding me. So it's like you can use things to your advantage. So if I'm finding inspiration from other creators, I'm usually scrolling. I usually scroll about 1 or 2 a.m. That's usually when I like shut down, trying to start going to sleep. Yeah. So I'll scroll 1 or 2 hours and I use that time to creatively collect. And if I like something or a certain style, I'll save it. But the trick is to try it, because if you save it,
Yeah, that's true.
and you let a day go by, you
That's
ain't never
true.
gonna see it
That's
again.
so true.
How many stuff you got saved you never go
absolutely.
back to?
Yeah.
So that action in that window.
Dope.
How you find it?
Man, I just search on Instagram. I like to look at, we're building an agency, so I'm always looking at agency owners and stuff like that. I like to look at New York inspiration, where styles of photo shoots from New York or designers out there. I really like to see people at the top of the game, like designs that don't look like what people are doing locally around Louisiana or wherever you're at. I think looking at the top, because some people, I feel like, compare themselves around with people that are so close. Man, look at the top of the game. Look at the people who are killing it and look at them and try to mimic their style and forget about everyone else around, and you'll see yourself think differently, approach designs differently. Yeah, man, I'm always looking at agency owners or just like people that are just really killing the game with content.
So let me ask you this. You was talking about creating a certain value for a company. I told you my production guy, he's also editing. Have you ever heard of the app CapCut?
Yeah.
Think of it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's the templates feature is dope because you can take a bunch of photos you have and videos. I think you need the pro version to make sure you can export it in a good quality. But man, you can take the content that you have and make a dope reel. You can look at all of these different styles of reels that people are doing, fast reels. People love the fast stuff.
CapCut is a cheat code.
Bro.
It's literally, I will make stuff on CapCut that the power in that app is crazy for it being free. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is captions. Like that's
huge.
something that I've learned, and having that in your
Absolutely.
face stuff, that's what my content is really based
Yeah.
on with Gordon
Yeah.
and stuff. And I've grown other pages as well, but I think just having that engagement in
Yeah,
those
man.
videos really hits another valued target audience.
Is the templates where you go at the
I
most?
don't even mess with the templates.
Where do you use the fast
Basically,
editing?
Yeah, fast editing. I like to use the keyframes. Just like a little fun edit.
Look at that.
I'm glad it wasn't me though. You could do it. It's your place. You could do it.
No, it's not.
I'm just glad. Let me get my water after that.
Just the keyframes.
The keyframe, and that's how you get it to move all over the screen.
So you're doing it yourself. You custom do it.
And once you learn keyframe and edit,
Yeah, I do it in After Effects and Premiere. I haven't messed with it in, but it's the same concept.
easy.
Yeah.
And you could do it on your phone, or there's a desktop version. But if you got a quick video you want to caption, we went to Orlando for the game, and there was a Uber driver, in a Tesla, and I'd never been in it. And the guy I follow, Ryan Magan, he does a lot of content where he'll ask interview style with a cell phone and just caption it. Something trendy or catchy or something that'll get your attention. So I did it with the Uber driver. Like, what's something an LSU fan should do out here in Orlando? And then I took that video, put it in CapCut, hit the auto subtitles, and then did like a keyframe or two, one or two sound effects, and then gave it to him at the end when I got out and collabed with him.
Love it.
And that's value.
Yeah, man. It is value.
That's value.
Yeah, man. Thinking ahead of the game and thinking how you can, that stuff can go so far. It could be the difference between not having a call or a text and then somebody you're meeting where you're maybe flying out another time for another thing. Or
I think one of the most valuable things you can do is learn CapCut right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like looking for people right now for CapCut editing.
Yeah.
You can go take one of your favorite creators' content on YouTube, chop it up, make it vertical, put captions on it,
it's huge.
and go get it. You don't need
Anybody can learn it. Anybody can learn it. Are you AI? You mess with AI at all?
Yeah. So I've tried a few.
Yeah.
I don't care for much, and I don't care for
much. I've heard of them. What is that one? What is that one about?
They're all the same,
it's
really.
Just caption.
You paste it, and then it'll find certain clips for it. But if your horizontals are already switching, it can't keep up. I just did a podcast in Orlando, and this is how you do it. All you do is you color grade, you do your sound editing on just the wide. Don't switch it in the edit. Just take the one wide shot and then feed it in the AI. And then now you're good. Now you can layer them. But I use Vid AI. I like that one.
Vid.io, I think I know.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah.
Because the other one, Orpus, not a good one.
Vid.io, what do you like about that one?
There's two things you can do. You can do chapters, where it's 4 or 5 minute segments that it titles it from in like long form YouTube. Or you can do reels, where it's 30 seconds or 90-second clips. I don't trust it to chop them up like that. So I'll go through the chapters of the 4-minute clips because it'll caption everything. So just take those 4-minute clips, make sure all the words are good, and then go export that, pull it in, and chop each individual. So it's like a few different stages of just sorting and layering. But that's the best way to do it if you don't want to multiple edit so many different things.
Absolutely.
And all your branding's on there, captions are done. Because normally them captions are so tedious.
The captions are the biggest thing. One program I've seen that's killer is Descript.
Descript. I've heard of that. I've actually typed that in today.
It's dope for podcasts.
With it. Yeah.
So with Descript, you can take a podcast, bring it in. It'll detect multiple speakers or not. So it'll write out the script and let you know who's speaking. It's like a notepad. So it doesn't take the form. You have the video interface style, but they want you to think about video editing a document. So it lays your captions out like you're writing through a Microsoft document. And so just like if you had a phrase that you wanted to take out in a note and you just backspace, that's how it
edits it.
That's how you cut out.
Yeah.
And so you can tell it to take out every filler word, you can take every word, it'll find it and take it out. It can auto reframe for you, just like cool things like that. It's really cool.
Awesome.
One cool thing about it that you can send in your voice and it'll allow you to, say if you messed up a word, you can get your voice approved and you can just type in the word and it'll fix the audio for you.
That's what it's turning into.
It's getting crazy.
So I've got to check that one out because CapCut allows you to take out filler words too.
Dope.
On the export.
Okay.
So that's really good because I go for those words all the time. I try because I edit my own self.
Sure.
And so is my word that I say.
This is gonna be my first time editing myself. We're gonna see how it goes.
And I talk so fast. And I move so much. So it's hard for me. I try and think about my edit sometimes and talk slower and break up my words.
That's so true.
No,
absolutely.
So that AI helps you out.
It does, man, bro.
Yeah.
At one point, we're not gonna know when AI really gets moving. When they get to, because now we're talking about AI finding the audio and making text, but when it gets to, and we see a lot of text to image, but when we start seeing text to video, when we're able to text, it creates a whole scene.
Yeah. If you have done. go get the script of the podcast and then go put it in AI to video and let it create it.
It's gonna be able to create it. I made a whole South Park episode. Did you see that? A whole South Park where it's video, audio. It's crazy.
People are worried about AI. I'm like, let's go, because it's just extra weapons.
It's 50-50, man. It's gonna help us a lot with productivity, everyday tasks. Can it end the world? Absolutely. Because when people we have drones, right? People can fly a drone and shoot it in the sky and stuff like that. I saw a movie where the drones were like, taking over, spotting people, and when it gets to the person, it blows up. But think about when that's controlled by.
If it's AI, they ain't gonna last long. I know
That's
that.
so
Man,
true.
that thing, when the wind blows, I get an alarm.
Yes, man.
But
last thing, gear, equipment, things that you see.
So
what are you looking at?
I always think I need the next piece. I'm one of those. But I tell you what, right now I'm running the R5. I use the 70 to 200 at games. A lot of people ask what I use for sports, and I shoot everything in 4K 120 when it's sports.
Nice.
It don't record sound, but I don't need sound because I'm using overlaid audios. But the 4K 120 on the R5, can't beat it.
Love it.
My favorite lens to shoot with is probably the. But if I only had one lens, I ain't worried about the wide stuff. I want the tight shots.
That's dope with your gimbal work. You really good?
Man, I don't mess with the gimbal much.
Okay.
I always got it really heavy though. I have this little sway move that I do, and I realize that's all I really need, because when you coming home and you shot like 2 terabytes on days, like you realize, hey, I gotta do something different. Just find you some foreground, come around the corner, and just lean with it, and then go back just for edit purpose. You got another direction. So I'm very smarter with how I shoot now, just because storage is out of control. But what's your gear? What do you like to run with?
Man, we have the Ronin, what is it, the S Pro?
The gimbal?
Yeah, the newest Ronin. I don't even use it as much. Gear-wise, the FX3 and the FX6 are probably the coolest things.
So have you always been on them? Or
I've always been on Sony's. When we started the agency, we got some new cameras, and so we tried to send them a line of Sony. But I started with the A7 III. And so that was a hybrid, beautiful. Other hybrid camera we have is the R5. And so that shoots 8K video footage, and also the pictures on there is 60 megabytes.
Jeez.
When you do a picture, bro, you can zoom in. And it's really cool.
R5 is like 45.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It could do 8K too, but 20 minutes. But this gear right here, I think what we're doing is, because right now when I came into Gordon's, I didn't really know. I'm YouTube trained, so I'm just
man.
I don't know what I'm doing. So we
get
had the R5, the R6, and then we got the C70.
Love it.
But we just had another production company come in and consult with us, and talking about switching to what we have actually. Exactly what you have.
It's dope, bro. It's a dope setup, man.
Y'all got it going on, man. This is
trying, man.
Beautiful place.
Appreciate it, man.
Crazy.
Thanks for being on the podcast, man.
Man, I love it, bro. I love it. We're going to do it again. This is beautiful. Just in a different set.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
I think we're over, right?
Yeah, we're over.
30 minutes? 5 minutes over? How do I have a whole drink?
I have this little sway move that I do, and I realize that's all I really need, because when you coming home and you shot like 2 terabytes on days, like you realize, hey, I got to do something different. You got another direction. So I'm very smarter with how I shoot now, just because storage is out of control. But what's your gear? What do you like to run with?
Man, we have the Ronin, what is it, the S Pro?
The gimbal?
Yeah, the newest Ronin. I don't even use it as much.
I ain't worried about the wide stuff. I want the tight shots.
That's dope with your gimbal work. You really good?
Man, I don't mess with the gimbal much. I always got it really heavy though.